Hey guys, welcome back to Advanced Bass Fishing, and appreciate you guys swinging by the channel today. We are going to be talking about how to prepare for a day on the water as far as getting out there, laying out a game plan and executing that game plan. Because I think a lot of people, they just sort of like randomly go fishing and just sort of let it unfold. And that'll work sometimes, but if you prepare sort of based upon the system I want to lay out for you guys today, you're going to see a noticeable increase in your consistency on the water. So we'll get into that today. Also guys, quick reminder, just want to let you know that a bait I have been catching a bunch of fish on really for about a month now. This new Mega Bass, the little 5-inch Magdraft here. This is the downsized version. I've been getting a lot of bites on it, guys. Good way to catch a limit of fish, good way to catch good ones too. So I'll put my 5-inch Mega Bass Magdraft in my Tackle Warehouse link in the description of this video if you guys would like to order some. Definitely think it's going to add up to some quality fish for you guys there. Appreciate that. Okay, how do you prepare for a day on the water? What's the ritual that I go through? I sort of want to go over that a little bit. So let me sort of explain to you guys how I do it. And this, it's not so much for like if I just go fun fishing, but if I'm serious about catching fish, like say for example, I got to take somebody out that wants to catch some fish, I got an on the water lesson, or excuse me, if I got a tournament or something like that, I sort of go through this process. And it starts even before you get to the lake. The first thing that I would suggest to do is get on Google Earth. And Google Earth has got, you know, it'll show you every lake in the country. Go to the lake that you're talking about or that you're getting ready to go fish to, and just from one end to the other, zoom in on that particular lake. Now what Google Earth is going to do, it's even if you know the lake, this is still going to help you out. If you zoom in on Google Earth, it will show you where underwater vegetation is at. It'll show you all the bank cover. It'll show you where the boat docks are at. It'll show you where the lay down trees are at. It'll show you where rock transitions are at. It'll show you where water clarity changes, like where the stained water is and where the clear water is. It is an excellent tool, guys, for preparing for a day of fishing to decide where you want to fish at. Because based upon the time of the year, and when you look at Google Earth and the map on Google Earth, you can pick out where you want to fish at. So, you know, if it's spring, summer, winter, fall, say for example, if you're fishing in the winter time, you know, you want to be in the deeper, clear water, you can find that on Google Earth. If it's a summer and you want to try to fish a squirrel in some dirty water, you can locate that dirty water. It's a great tool, so get familiar with that. Okay, now the next thing you do, once you decide where you want to fish at, this is going to be based upon a lot of different things. It's going to be based on the time of the year. It's going to be based on the water temperature, the water clarity, but you're going to have to pick out a part of the lake that you want to fish, because most of the time, if it's a big lake, like a fairly large body of water, anything over like 1,000 or 5,000 acres, you can't fish everything. You're gonna have to narrow that lake down to a small part of it and really break down that part of the lake. So this is what you want to try to identify first. Now this is something that it comes with a little bit of experience, because your knowledge of seasonal movements and seasonal habits of fish are going to put you in those right areas. So that's something you're going to have to learn on your own. It's something for another video here. But once you determine the part of the lake that you want to fish, you want to make that your lake for the day. Let's say, for example, you know, how I like to fish. I like to fish shallow. And let's say we're going fishing and it's early summer or late summer, and I don't want to fish deep. I don't want to look for suspended fish. I want to fish shallow. I want to fish a square bill crankbait. I want to flip a jig. I'm going to pick the dirtiest part of the lake that I can go into, and I'm going to make that my lake. So let's say, for example, you've got a 20,000 acre lake, and you got the lower part of the lake is clear, the mid part of the lake's got a little color in it, and the upper third of the lake has got dirtier water in it. I'm going to make that upper third part of the lake my lake for the entire day. I'm not even going to consider any other part of the lake. So I'll pick a couple key areas in that part of the lake. Maybe it's for 3 or 4 coves I want to fish. Maybe it's some main lake rock transitions. Maybe it's a couple creeks up there. And I will get in there and I'll do everything. I will leave no stone unturned. Okay, let's say, for example, I run up this tributary into some dirty water and I get into a creek arm. And I get into this creek arm, the first thing I want to do is survey all my options. So I make a pass around there. I'll just run the boat maybe 20 miles an hour around the whole creek, and I look for what's available. There may be lily pads, there may be some grass, there may be some docks, there may be some lay down trees, maybe some riprap, maybe a bluff bank, whatever. And then once I see and I get in my mind what type of cover is available, I'm going to systematically begin fishing that. So based upon the time of the year, and again, the water temperature and the water clarity is going to dictate technique, I'll start systematically eliminating stuff. I'll fish bluffs for 20 minutes. I'll fish lay down trees for 20 minutes. I'll fish some docks for 20 minutes. If it's working, great. I can expand on that and I can refine the technique and refine the color they want and run that pattern. And if it's not working, I go to the next option. If I fish bluffs for 20 or 30 minutes, don't get a bite on bluffs after switching up some baits, then maybe I go to a 45-degree angle rocky bank. That doesn't work, trying different stuff. Maybe I see a nice bank over there that's got 15 or 20 lay down trees, and I go over there and fish those lay down trees a little bit, or whatever cover is available in there. And once that I start getting a few bites, then I can really tweak and I can really maximize that particular area by experimenting with colors, experimenting with lure sizes, lure profiles, different type of lure categories. And then once I do that, I can expand it into other areas of that part of the lake. Maybe there's 2 or 3 creeks up in the upper end of the lake and I can run and duplicate that. But that is how you locate fish consistently and you systematically come up with some type of a plan like that. Now, given that, you want to keep an open mind. And a lot of times, if something comes into your mind that you want to try, do it for 15 or 20 minutes. If you get a wild hair and think, man, maybe I need to try that, instead of thinking about it, just act upon it. But the main thing that you want to do is you want to maximize your time. You want to be in the most productive water all the time. You don't want to be in dead water, and that's how you do that. That's how you find the best water, is by picking out a part of the lake based upon the time of the year and just systematically break down the techniques and lures in those particular areas. And I can promise you guys, if you start doing that, I'm not guaranteeing success every time you go out, but over a period of time, you're going to see an incremental success in the consistency of the fish that you catch. So anyway, I hope it helps out, guys. We'll talk later.